Do you want to be a better friend to Meri?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, if there's anything that I can fix with her, I want to fix it. So, but like it has to, like, I feel the same way that she's not reciprocating it either. So I'm kind of like, I think it's just a matter of the both of us kind of really putting the same kind of effort in, and it hasn't been the same.
Hey besties, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. The conversation about Meri and Robyn's relationship is going to be discussed in a recent part 3 of the tell-all. And you know what? I'm noticing these videos I'm doing about the second part have not been performing very well. So I'm just wondering, are you guys tired of sister wives? I'm just so confused. Generally, these videos do well, and I'm just wondering if there's a fatigue in the audience the same way I'm feeling fatigued. On the one hand, I am staunchly in favor of like continuing to shine a light on the damages of of polygamy and the harms that it causes to women and to children. And then on the other hand, I am just tired of the fact that there's never going to be any level of accountability for Cody Brown or Robyn Brown for their roles. And there seems to be a serious lack of sensitivity or understanding on the part of TLC to the actual damage that this system has caused to the women. I was recently made aware of an interview, and I didn't watch it, between Suki and Sarah Fraser. And by the way, I have nothing against Sarah Fraser. I actually adore her. She and I have very different, we do our things very differently. She serves a very different audience, and she is a very different reporter, but I still love her and we've always had a great relationship. But I guess Suki was on her podcast kind of defending the family and defending Cody and Robyn, and, saying things like Cody's a good dad and he's trying to restore relationships and Robyn is really nice. And it just made me think about something. Like, Suki isn't there to do anything other than to placate and pander to TLC so that she can continue to make a paycheck. And because she has a contract with TLC, of course, she's not going to disparage Cody in any kind of interview, because then she could get fired if this goes on for another season, right? And even though Cody has acted like a baby during this tell all, um, Suki, for her part, has called him out. But at the same time, like, I don't know how Suki can sit there with a straight face and encourage these women to try to restore relationships with people that are abusive. It almost feels like TLC is enabling the abuse of Cody and Robyn. And I've noticed an uptick in articles recently of some people discussing their desire for sister wives to be canceled because of the lack of accountability for Cody and Robyn. And I really am frustrated because this could be a really great opportunity for the network or even a show. I mean, to showcase the damages of polygamy. What we're watching is just, it's a small symptom of a much bigger problem, and the kinds of feuds that these people are having and the dynamics they're experiencing and the harm that's being caused in real life to these real people happens in polygamy every day. What would it feel like if we could watch a show where they actually talk about the harms of polygamy and how they've moved out of polygamy? Or would that be against the narrative that TLC has wanted us to follow for years, that this is a benign system and it only fell apart because of the family dynamic, not because of the structure itself? I don't know. But Meri and Robyn's relationship has been a very big issue. And, someone in my comments, Ellen, who is from the AUB, reminded me that in the AUB, women are very pressured very hard to take on the feelings of their husbands and the men in their families. And a lot of pressure is put on women to carry that on them. And so if a man isn't feeling something, you're supposed to do something for him. Like, you're supposed to make them feel better. You're responsible for how they're feeling. and the men are not responsible for how they're feeling. And so it's a lot of guilt for women, and it's very hard for them to push back against people when they tell them how they're feeling, which is why when Cody called Meri and said that he was still grieving the loss of their marriage, she said to him, "You're not going to put that on me. You don't get to put that on me. That's yours. That is not mine." And he said, "Yes, I do." And the reason he can say that is because of his cult programming telling him that, "Of course I can, Meri. It's your fault I'm grieving." Make it make sense. But with that in mind, Robyn and Meri have very different points of view when it comes to the breakdown of their friendship. And I'm going to say something here. This is 3 episodes into the tell-all, and they're very much only speaking about episodes, like the very first episodes of the season. There were 20 episodes or 20 some episodes this season, and or 25 episodes this season, and they are just speaking about the first few episodes in this tell-all. There's nothing about Janelle moving, there's nothing about Christine or her wedding. There's nothing, they haven't talked about Meri moving on and the fights with Robyn and Cody saying that Jen is a bitch. In fact, Meri made a point of mentioning that when she was at the tell all, she had not had an opportunity yet to see the full episodes that had been aired on TLC. And she was not shown a clip of Cody calling Jen a bitch and Cody discussing the friendships of Meri's and how they're just like a bad influence on her and that no man would want to be with her if she was with friends that talked badly, right? This tell all has been very weird. There were 25 episodes. They've discussed an part of season episode 8, which was where Janelle and Cody sit down. They talked a little bit about Meri moving and leaving and, Cody and her spiritual release. They've said nothing about Christine's wedding. They're going to talk a little bit about Coyote Pass, but it's weird what they're talking about in this tell all and the aspects that they're focusing on when there was a lot that happened in this season that really had nothing to do with Cody and the wives. And I think the reason they're skipping so much is how would you have a tell all where you sat down and talked to each one of them about what their current storylines are? Because it wouldn't be a dramatic tell all, right? I mean, if you had to talk to Cody about, helping his daughter with her baptism and, being a great dad and playing games nights, that has nothing to do with anything. So they're trying to like make a tell all and force 4 episodes weaving together the storylines of all 4 of them together, but they're ignoring all of the episodes where they're doing things separate. Does that make sense? And when you do that, it just feels very disconnected. It's like Sister Wives is still trying to hold on to the fact that there's still a family when they're not. But let's get to this where Meri discusses how she feels about Robyn and why she's done. She's absolutely done.
In that clip with Robyn, it's like, okay, you are having this pain about me leaving. That's a you thing. That's yours to carry. That's not mine. And I think for a lot of times, a lot of years, I was trying to take the blame. I was trying to, well, it's my fault. I need to fix it. And I needed to really learn to let that go.
Do you remember how Meri was expressing very early on her unhappiness with her position in the family and how she didn't feel like connected to any of the other women because her child graduated, she was an empty nester, she didn't have as many children as them, she didn't feel interwoven into the family, they started living in separate homes, and she just started to feel like she was in a completely different place as everyone else who were still raising children, which that happens when people go through empty nest. It's, that happens. They start like all of our friends are raising kids and now I'm not. And oftentimes we surround ourselves with our friends that do other things that are in the same place as their lives as ours. And so you have a hard time relating to people that don't do what you do. You know what I mean? And Robyn would always guilt her constantly. She would tell her that she didn't want to be in her family, that, remember Meri wanted to go back to school and get her degree and finish her degree. And Robyn said that, there's been women that have been in this church that have gone on and done things outside of their family, and they've been exposed to people that, will bring them out of this group. And so, she shouldn't go to school, and she made her feel bad for wanting to better herself and get some education. Remember that? And so then Meri, I don't even know if Meri ever went to school. I really don't. We never heard. I don't know if she ever finished her dream of getting her degree. And Robyn has played on Meri's inherent guilt that she's felt her whole life and her sense of loyalty, that she needs to be more loyal to the family and more loyal to the principal than she does need to be to the outside world. And she needs to be more sensitive to how she's impacting everyone else around her than she does to herself. She wasn't allowed to have her own emotions. But Robyn here, when she went to say goodbye to Meri, it was very clear she was there to manipulate Meri. And so Meri is saying for the first time that she's not going to let Robyn manipulate her. And Suki describes Meri's reaction as cold. How can Suki watch this show and see what Robyn has done to Meri and not put Robyn on the spot for how she's treated Meri for years? How can she do these interviews with a straight face? How much is TLC paying her?
It feels very icy right here.
It's just because, like, I don't feel icy. I just don't feel like it's there, which is really just, it's unfortunate, but it's just not there.
I don't like it when someone who is setting a boundary is called icy or cold, because setting a boundary and standing up for yourself isn't being cold. It isn't being icy. And the way that she frames that question and makes that observation to Meri, it's so condescending, and it's actually exactly how women are treated in this cult, because they're told they have to keep sweet and be happy and consider everyone else and not feel anything. And so when a woman actually sets a boundary, they're then accused of being cold and icy and defiant and difficult, cruel and mean. So really, Suki is perpetuating the abuse of Cody and Robyn and putting that on Meri. And how fair is that to Meri? It's not fair to Meri to suggest that because she set a boundary, that it was somehow cold and mean. Why was Robyn never called out for how she treated Meri by anyone on this tell-all? Why has she never been brought up to the carpet and told? Meri's interview with Tamron Hall was my first inside look into what it's like to be a tell-all host. And Tamron saying that she got a sense very early on that Robyn was running the show. Robyn was directing what people say. Robyn was reminding people what they can and can't say. And that Cody was always looking to Robyn, and Meri was always looking to Robyn and Cody for directions on what she should do. And Meri didn't disagree with it. And Tamron expressed that she got on set and she felt tension not between Meri and Janelle and Christine, but between Meri and Robyn, to which Meri said that would be accurate. I think at some point we're going to get more from Meri, and she's going to tell us that they were not friends. They were not close. Maybe someday she'll be willing to open up about the way that Robyn treated her for a very long time and what was going on behind the scenes in the manipulation of how the divorce happened. Right now, she's not willing to go there, or at least here. And Meri said that she walked into this tell-all feeling charitable to Cody because he was kissing her ass and being nice to her. And if you remember, 2 weeks before this tell-all aired, he called her and told her he missed her. I think part of what he was doing was, one, to get her on his side with Coyote Pass, but also to love bomb her before the tell-all so that when she got to the tell-all, she wouldn't have bad feelings about him. And so she would speak about him in a positive way. It's insidious if you think about it. He's doing it to manipulate her. And so Meri said that had she known what Cody was saying behind her back during this period, she would not have been this charitable or nice. But he was being manipulative to her to get her on his side, to get her to not say bad things about him at the tell-all. She felt used. The best thing Meri can do with Cody is to set a boundary and have no contact with him. The best thing for her is to not take advice from Suki or anyone that is going to enable Cody and Robyn's abuse. And the best thing for all of us is to hear them when they say they dealt with mind games, manipulation, shaming, degrading, insults, intentionally trying to hurt people where it counts, leading them on, using them for money. That's what you need to remember. If 3 women all have the same story, it's not their problem. It's a Cody and Robyn problem. If there's 3 women with the same story of basically being defrauded and abused by these 2, why are we giving their abusers the right to defend themselves or skirt responsibility and taking any level of accountability? I'd love to know what your thoughts are about that. Make sure to tell me them in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and please click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.